All right, Sistas fans. Well, today is the day, March 24th. Production for season 9 is set to begin at Tyler Perry Studios. Now, as I've been saying in videos leading up to this day, I would not be surprised if they do their best to keep things under wraps for season 9 the same way they did for season 8, meaning that I don't think we're going to see, a number of the cast members posting photos or, behind the scenes stuff, in order to avoid any sort of behind the scenes spoilers like, hey, this person's coming back for season 9, or hey, this person who you think may have been killed in the finale, they're actually back for season 9. And, since it's March 24th, I haven't seen any actors access anything. So, yeah, they're probably going to do what they can to keep season 9 as secretive as possible. But as I mentioned also before, if something does get posted and it's posted by someone, who actually works at the set, and it's posted on their accounts for people to see, not just something that's DM'd to me privately, I will talk about it. Because, my policy is if it's posted online, then it is fair game, But if it's something just sent to me directly, like, hey, here's a little secret sneak peek, Jeremy, about so-and-so, I'm like, I'm not going to do it that way. But that's just a heads up in case anybody comes across anything. That's pretty much how I go about doing it. But this particular video is mainly about a question. Now, I'll probably do a video leading into season 9 because look, we still got March. We still got a few months before the show comes back. And of course, during that time, I'll pump out a few Sisters videos here and there. One of which being like, a number of questions fans want answered or, things people want to see in season 9. But this particular video is focused on Zatima because I saw a tweet about this, and it has to do with the fact that, okay, season 9's coming up. What they need to do is go ahead and get Zach and Fatima married in this season. Like, we need to have a Zatima wedding. I'm going to be completely honest here. I don't know. I don't feel like that needs to be the case. Now, I recall doing a video a while ago. It was probably during season 7, if I'm not mistaken. But I did a video about something along the topic of, hey, the 200th episode is going to be in season 9, like the penultimate episode, because the finale is going to be episode 201. And I said, do you think we'll see Zach and Fatima have their wedding in episode 200? Or even more symbolism, and I know people won't like this idea, but remember, at the time, this was my thought process. Do you think Karen will finally give birth in the 200th episode because she's having twins? So it's like, hey, 2 babies, episode 200 during the Zach and Fatima wedding. But, that's obviously not the case because she, apparently, keep in mind now, we've seen her with false contractions before. So until we get season 9 and it's confirmed her water broke, I'm just taking what happened in the finale with a grain of salt. And what will be even wilder is if the pacing for season 9 is as slow as season 8. Because if that's the case, because somebody joked, they're like, hey, Jeremy, when do you think Karen is actually going to, give birth because her water broke in the finale? I said, if her water did break in the season 8 finale, she probably won't give birth until like season 9, episode 21. And they're like, Jeremy, don't say that because they'll probably do that. But I don't think a Zatima wedding needs to happen yet. Hear me out, because I know people are like, look, come on, Jeremy, they've been engaged forever. In my personal opinion, and if you remember my thoughts on Zatima season 1, I didn't like the fact that they got engaged in Zatima. Especially the way it happened, because I said, to me, it felt like, and I am not doubting Zach's feelings for Fatima. Let me just make that clear. I am not doubting Zach's feelings for Fatima. But in my opinion, at that point in time, it honestly felt like Zach's proposal was done to appease Fatima in order to show that I'm dedicated to you. Because remember, she was pissed off about the whole what was it, the photos or videos. If I remember correctly, didn't Belinda take those photos of Zach getting a personal dance by Deja at that one athlete's party? Yeah, this was after the whole Tony taking the photos when he saw Fatima hugging Ian at the coffee shop. And I'm sorry I'm talking slow, but I'm just trying to... Season 1 was a while ago. And despite me rewatching it, so many times when it came out, I'm trying to make sure I don't get my details messed up here. But yeah, Tony had took those photos and, showed Zach, and then he was pissed. And then from there, he got that dance for Deja. And, Fatima was pissed off. So it felt like the proposal was just done because, Fatima's mad at me. I need to show her that I'm down for our relationship and no, exotic dancer who just so happens to be moving next door soon. So what's even worse, and I'm not blaming Fatima for this specifically because, to be fair, she did not know Zach was going to propose in that moment. But if I were Zach, I would have aborted the plan to pull out the ring when she invited Ian down to their table at the restaurant to pretty much show Zach what happens to a man who breaks her heart and she shuts out completely because there's no way of ever getting her back. And that, to me, will always leave a stain on the night that they got engaged, because I'm like, Fatima. And like I said, to be fair to Fatima, she did not know that Zach was going to propose. So before the Fatima fanatics come at me, I am acknowledging that she did not know Zach was going to propose. But the fact that he still went on with the proposal to me, I can't get over that. I can't get over that. And even worse is that after the proposal, that's when we went into Sistas season 5. And then that's when we got the worst iteration of Fatima. And it just became, okay, these two do not need to be married anytime soon. And I think recently, I can't remember if I actually did a video specifically on this topic, but I know I mentioned it in several videos. I don't think Zach knows the woman he's calling his wife. The woman who is carrying his third child that we know of. The woman that he, wants to marry, like, right here, right now. Because Fatima has always been secretive. Always. Anytime Zach asks her about her past, you're not ready to know that, Zach. Or, no, you don't need to know all that. And as we've seen recently in Zatima season 3 with Malachi and Leslie, and I know that's not Sistas, but I'm still going to bring it up anyway. There is way too much Zach doesn't know. I mean, obviously the Madam stuff and, gangster family is one thing, but from a more personal level, there's a lot Zach doesn't know about Fatima's past. And that kind of makes it worse because there are times when Zach gets reprimanded due to the events of Fatima's previous relationships. Things where men have hurt her or metaphorically or quite literally, according to Fatima, left her at the altar. So Zach is, sometimes being caught off guard because he doesn't know why Fatima's upset about something. And I'm not talking about the obvious things like, great, another baby mama just randomly popped up at the house. No, I'm talking about, just little things. So I feel like there needs to, we know that Zach is going to therapy. We know that in Zatima season 4, there will be some meeting about anger management. So it could be Zach that has to go to anger management. But I truly believe that Zach and Fatima need to go to counseling together. Premarital counseling or whatever. Because I don't think that they are ready to be married. And then when I look at it from the sister's perspective of, yeah, season 9, let's get them married. I don't think that's the right move because if they get married, I feel like it's just a desperation attempt. Why do you say that, Jeremy? I mean, fans want to see it. You're not wrong. But look at the fact that season 7 and 8 were just bombs. They bombed. Season 8 especially. They just horribly bombed. New writers did their thing and, well, look what happened. I think that if you get Zach and Fatima married now, it's just a Hail Mary attempt to get the fan base back, because despite the declining ratings and interest in the show, fans will come back for a Zach and Fatima wedding. But similar to the proposal, I think it's just done for the sake of doing it. If you're a Marvel fan, maybe you'll relate to me when I say this, but last year when they announced Robert Downey Jr. is going to come back in the upcoming Avengers films, Secret Wars and whatnot, and Doomsday as Doctor Doom. And it's like, we love Doctor Doom. He's one of the best, not just villains, but characters in Marvel or comic book in general. But to bring Robert back after the whole scenario with Jonathan Majors and Kang, and they had to re-scrap everything and the MCU was falling apart, it's a desperation tactic for the sake of, okay, what's a surefire way to get fans' butts in the seats so we can sell tickets for these movies to, make back some of the money we lost. That's right. Get RDJ back. And fans are like, come on now, because Doctor Doom, he deserves better build-up than just randomly being thrown in with, upcoming Fantastic Four movie in the Avengers. So it's just a desperation tactic instead of taking the time to truly craft a story, to bring everything together and make it a reward when he finally does show up, portrayed by someone who's not RDJ. Now, if that, comparison didn't throw you off, then you can realize I'm saying that in comparison to Zach and Fatima getting married, because I don't know if I'm speaking for you or if I'm just speaking for me or if anybody feels the way I feel. I'd much rather see a solid season of Sistas where we got Zach and Fatima back on track, their communication, Zach just not being a blockhead, Fatima treating Zach as a partner rather than a lackey. Let's see them rebuild the relationship dynamic of Zach and Fatima, where Zach is considerate, Fatima is patient. Zach isn't a hothead, and Fatima isn't just, hired muscle or the brains of the operation. Get back to showing them as a loving couple. And even better, we have Zach, taking care of Fatima the way that Fatima takes care of Andy, because, she's pregnant now. And also some believable peace between these two, and then Aaron and Karen. When I say believable, I mean like, don't just randomly say, oh, they're all getting along. No. It's going to be a slow burn, but obviously they put their differences aside for the sake of the babies Karen's about to pop out. Let me see that, because we do not need to throw the wedding card on the table, because once you turn that card over, there's no getting it back. Because something tells me, if you do this wedding, why do I have the feeling it's going to be surrounded by drama? It's like, oh, Zach, you ain't got time to take care of your child that I just gave birth to, but you got time to run around Fatima and plan for your wedding and whatnot and start a family without me. No. Let's be cool about this. Let's take our time and build up to a believable wedding. We don't need some we don't need some backyard wedding like Jonathan Majors and Megan Good that just happened out of nowhere. It's like, no. We spent years with this couple. This couple saved Sistas. They got their spinoff. These last 2 seasons freaked it up very badly. I want to see proper build up to a Zach and Fatima wedding. I mean, when the event does happen, it doesn't need to specifically be a Sistas event. It doesn't need to specifically be a Zatima event. I remember a while back pitching it as either the series finale of Sistas or even like a multi-part, like made for TV movie. Zach and Fatima deserve the best. And to be a bit selfish here as a fan, and I feel like we can all agree with this. We deserve the best. We deserve to see Zach and Fatima truly have a wedding for the ages. We're the ones who made that couple huge. Don't get me wrong, though. Of course, it's attributed to the incredible chemistry and the work put in by DeVal and Crystal. But if the fans didn't receive and support that couple, after they became, the it pairing in season 2, none of this success wouldn't have happened. So I think as fans, after everything we've had to endure, watching the ups and downs of this couple, some writers doing a better job than others when it comes to depicting their characters, the outside forces of their, life, whether it be their friend circle or families, or baby mama drama or exes drama, Zach and Fatima deserve an incredible wedding. It needs to be something that's properly built up to, not something that's just thrown at the audience to get us back to the show to get ratings up. Make a Zach and Fatima wedding one for the ages. Like doing that one Breakfast Club interview. When it comes to a Zach and Fatima wedding, put some spect on it. We deserve the best because we've had to sit through some of the worst of what this couple has been through. And it needs to be something that's done with care. That's all I'm saying. We can discuss like who do you think should be on the invite list or, this, that, and the third. But I just really believe that Zach and Fatima should not get married just because, we'll need this to get the show back on track. No. Season 9 needs to be like a soft reset for like the second time. Get these things back on track. Move forward, and maybe we'll see. I'm not against seeing random things throughout season 9, like them deciding on where they want to get married and, maybe Fatima picking out a dress, things like that. Well, then again, there's also the question of, do you think she should get married before or after she has her baby? Not to mention she's still in law school, so there's a lot of things on her plate. But we'll just have to wait and see. I think it really depends on season 9, like, will there be a time jump? Will they pick up exactly where they left off, or will they pull a season 7 where they skip ahead a few months? Going to be honest here, I wouldn't really mind that because we can get past a lot of the unnecessary drama and whatnot that season 8 left us off with. But yeah, I'm done rambling. You've heard enough from me, but let me know your thoughts. Do you think Zach and Fatima need to or should get married in Sistas season 9? Or are you like me where it's like, Jeremy, I think I'm with you. I'm thinking we need to just get this show or at least try to get it back on track. Build our way up to the wedding and then we'll go from there. Or it should be a Zatima thing. Or it should just be a movie or whatever. But whatever the case, and I mean this sincerely, regardless of, the good and the bad I talked about season 8, I want season 9 to be great. I don't want it to be as good as the show was the seasons 1 through 6. I want season 9 to be the best that the show has had so far. I mean, I know Tyler said he couldn't bring himself to watch the new episodes that were created by the new writing team. I know in the past he said hey, trust me. I know the voice of my audience. I have a feel of the pulse of what the people want. But even though he himself said he couldn't watch the new episodes and whatnot, these new writers have seen what people have been saying on social media. So I do hope that when he did allegedly go back into the writer's room for season 9, he and these new writers had conversations. It isn't just Tyler saying, hey, we're going to do this my way. I hope that at least some of the fan feedback and desires were taken into some consideration. That way, some of the problems that the new writers introduced could be fixed. And let's be real, some of the issues with Tyler's scripts could be addressed. And then from there, they can blend things together because despite the writers putting out things that cause ratings to drop, I can say there were some things they did better than Tyler Perry, such as the pacing, at least in season 7. Season 8, for whatever reason, they opted to have the show moving as slow, if not slower, than how Tyler did it. But I just want this season to be fantastic. And, well, we got a few months to go, and I hope we're in for something good. Not just for the sake of increasing ratings, but for the sake of the fans like myself who did not give up on the show, even though, to be honest, we had every reason to. I just hope it's worth the wait. And this hiatus will be a good time to, clean our palates, watch some other television and whatnot, and go about, our business, because July 16th, time is flying by. I mean, this is a week from today. It's going to be the final day of March, and then we'll be going into April, and then, well, hey, like I said, time is flying. But if you made it this far into the video, I appreciate the support. It really does help with the retention rate and the algorithm pushing this video for more people to see. Make sure you take a moment to hit like and subscribe. Follow me on social media. Links are in the description below. And with that being said, I'll catch you all in the next one.